From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping, to the streets of Mexico City, Mexico, where the UFC is coming, and to the Great Wall of China, where I hope no one is jumping, we are live on Itstime Radio, on FoxSports.com. This is the podcast where we talk about what you want to talk about, what you think about, what you're afraid to ask, what you're afraid to verbalize, so we do it for you. It is the lifestyle show of the web, and today, a very, very big show. Historical show for us after 200 episodes, as we bring on one of my favorite action stars of all time, one of my favorite human beings, and a man I like to call my friend in the movie industry, a man who's known the world round as the Muscles from Brussels. But let's bring him on now, because he truly is an icon. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Hi, Jean-Claude.
How are you? How are you, Bruce?
You like that intro, don't you?
Yes, but what a voice.
Very much so.
Oh, thank you so much. It actually pays for, some of the bills. Jean-Claude, I've known you for a number of years. We've been, mile away neighbors in Marina Del Rey, seeing each other at Gold's. Before I ever met you, I will say that I spent a lot of my life watching your movies, first in line to go see them. Always fascinated a lot by you because you're such a distinctive, iconic, legendary action star in the movie film industry, which has gone through a lot of changes since you first came in. Your background, a lot of people really want to know about. I mean, you're from Brussels. They like to know about your martial arts background. I know also too, aside from your training, you've done bodybuilding, you've been in martial arts, you've achieved belts in martial arts, you've fought. You've studied ballet, which, quite frankly, in my opinion, if you can study and train in ballet, you can pretty much do anything, because that's got to be some of the toughest training that there is, even though you're not getting hit.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Now, when you first came to America, you came here with a dream, shall we say. And when you came here, by my estimate, it was about 1982 when you first came to America. Am I correct in that?
Correct.
And you're with a childhood friend named Michelle Kesey?
Yes. Correct.
Yes, Kesey. And you moved to the States in the hope of becoming action stars. I'm fascinated, not just by where you are today, which we'll talk about, how you got here more so. I'm always fascinated by the dreams that people have and how they achieve your goals. Where were you at that point in your life? And can you just give us a little insight into when you came to America, what it was like for you?
Before coming to America, I came out of my mother. Business. I came out of my mother, and the first fight was against myself.
Right.
I was not well gifted physically. I was having a problem physically in terms of not being a very strong kid, and everything was a fight.
Was it medical?
No, not medical. Some kids, they're born skinny,
Sure.
not really, they're not
You were
force
just...
of nature. So because of training, I was able to fight in a sense against myself and to become a better person.
Now, with that,
not a person, a better physical person.
Right. Did you go through what a lot of young boys and girls these days go through, which is the bullying process in Europe? Did you suffer from that?
Yeah. I was bullying at school and everything. Then my father was watching a TV show called Kung Fu. And he saw that with this art coming from Asia, and the guy was skinny, and at that time the people in Europe, when they saw that TV show, they truly believed in that art, the Kung Fu art. So my father brought me to martial arts, to a teacher who became very close to me, like a father. And I was involved, he was like a second father to me. So because of love, and because he saw me somewhere special, which is being able to be something amazing with my legs, even though I was gringalet, like he said, skinny, like a toothpick, and I was not flexible. He saw the will in me and the love I was having for my teacher. At that time, we didn't have martial arts for children, for kids. It was right away with the 16, 17, 18 years old. I was 11, so 18 looked like 35 years old against 15 years old. It was and I was forced to go on high kicks to be able to spar with them and everything. I take a little time. It's important for the people of the UFC. So I was having difficulties all the time in terms of height, power, and everything. So it's good to have a difficulty because I fought myself and I passed that stage. Then I became a hotshot in Belgium. I started to win some competition. Then I did weightlifting. I became Mr. Belgium. Then I did few movies in Paris, and I said, okay, it's time to make good money. I opened a gym. Then my father saw that very successful because I came from my father was a florist. He was selling flowers, and
Right.
I was with him in the morning buying the flowers, then go to school, then to karate. It was a very 15, 16 hours a day life, you know, hard growing up, right?
Right.
And so when my father saw that my gym with the martial arts and the weightlifting, and it made so much money at that time, for $3,000 to $4,000 a day,
Wow.
That's a lot of money back then.
was the
That-
biggest gym in Belgium.
What
right?
year is this?
Was back in 1980, 1979,
Wow,
right?
that's crazy money.
Right. I was young too. So no, I was 19 years old. So my father then moved to my gym to help me with the accountability. And of course, after 2 years, Dad, I can do better than that. What? I want to be a movie star. Because since I was 11 years old, 8 years old, I was praying to the cosmic will, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to call him.
Right.
I was praying to something powerful, and I say thank you in advance. But my first prayer, basically, I know I'm not cuckoo, I wanted to help the earth, the ecology. But at that time, everything was perfect.
Right.
Perfect. And then also I wanted to be like a Tarzan in movies. I was, you know, that dream of being those Marvel comics with the arms and the muscles. So everything was like a fight. And that dream came back to me, and I left to America with $3,000 in my pocket. I sold my gym. I put the money in the bank. I paid back my father for the loan. Thank you, Dad. Good father. And then my father told me, you know, no matter where you're going, okay, big fight first because lots of money, old generation, he saw the war and all that stuff, you know, penny by penny, flowers by flowers. Now I'm leaving this beautiful business. And he said, listen, if you fail, you can always come back here and you have a bed and a flower shop.
Great father.
Yeah, and that made me feel so strong, Bruce, because when I did go, your name again, I'm sorry?
TJ.
And TJ, when I came to the States, my father was always with me in my heart, and my mother, my family. So I did it again for the love of my father. So when I became a movie star, I said, what's really special of being a movie star except being famous? And that became boring to me. And then I started to understand the art of acting, which is not acting, which is telling the truth and becoming a character, so I can come out of myself and feel better sometimes, and to go back in myself, because you know my life with the ups and downs. I've got lots of memories and marriage and divorce. I've done everything and basically nothing to understand everything.
When you came to America, you know, back then, because you're, if I'm not mistaken, we're only a couple years apart. You're around 55, 56, and I'm 58. And in my early stages of martial arts, which got me into kickboxing and the stuff that I did at the early age, in my day, we all wanted to be Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee. And it was about the kicking and the striking. You know, that has changed so much since then, although Bruce Lee is still, as Chuck is, you know, a huge icon to all of us. A lot of people, you know, they talk about your fighting background as far as what you did or not. On record, when I was, you know, doing some research, you had, unless I'm mistaken, 18 victories in a kickboxing career.
Right.
And 1 defeat. And I read, were those 18 victories, were they all knockouts in those victories?
No. I win a lot with knockout, and some I win with points. Yeah.
Okay. And then,
But at that time also, for you to know, when we fought in Belgium, it was very disorganized. Some fight happened, like you have like light contact, full contact, and shuttlecock style.
Right.
And they happen in a school. And you see the water dripping in some buckets when the guy you're supposed to control. So you go very close, but of course people are excited. Bam! In the lips, it's bleeding all over the place. Nurse, no nurse there. It's like, you know, it was in the old fashioned. It was also people from the Middle East, North African people from Africa, tough kid from the street. And that was the area where I was born. So, and I was a white boy, you know. So I grew up with all those guys, and I became very close to this type of thinking, which is the street thinking. And my father gave me a great education because he was an autodidact. So he gave me, you know, Wagner to listen, Beethoven, Molière. So I was between those two entities. So when I came to America, I think that helped me a lot. Plus my sensitivity to be able to understand and feel people today better before talking to them.
Well, the understanding your character to create the character is very important. And life's learning process, like you're explaining, obviously all comes into that, you know, especially being an actor. The first film that you came out, obviously Bloodsport. A lot of people, when they talk about the original UFC, they say it's almost like, you know, the original Bloodsport, because back in the UFC, in the original, it wasn't mixed martial arts, it's what style was the best style. With, of course, Gracie and Jiu-Jitsu winning over in that. In Bloodsport, which was your breakout hit, was in 1988, that film was made for like $1.5 million budget. When you were making that film and you were on that film, did you feel that this was going to be the breakout film for you? Did this have that sense, or were you just happy to be in a movie?
Okay, it was three things. You know, when you come from Belgium and they're telling you you can make a film right away, it's like, okay, I'm making Lawrence of Arabia, because my mentality, you can make a film, okay, I'm going to make a big movie. So I enter into Bloodsport with 20 years of rehearsal without knowing. Since I trained, since I was 10, 11, and I started Blood at 25, I've been training for that part without knowing. And at that time, it was no CGI, it was no green screen, so all the move, widescreen was kind of, it was real, so it was not really a story. It was more like a Van Damme billboard, and from there, I received more parts. But when I saw the movie finish at the Chinese theater, it was not too many people, and I came down, and I was not happy. I was like, kind of, you know, I was crying inside, going, wow, it's not a good film, the story, the cutting, the kick, not enough, not enough, not enough. And then I find out later that it became a success. I go on radio saying, yeah, you know, we can do better because, and then the producer called me, Van Damme, this is Van Damme, are you crazy? The iron is hot, don't ever say bad against any of your fucking movies. I'm sorry, but you know, we can do something called kickboxer and all that stuff, right?
Right.
And it was great. And then when I saw it a couple of days ago, I saw Bloodsport, I go, my God, what a magic inside. Because now we have like 20-something years of distance, or 30, and I saw it, and I go, not 30, 28, and I go, wow, it's magic, you know, because I was kind of pure. Like,
It definitively pure. It created an evolutionary process in the martial arts films to where they are today, and even in your own films, because, you know, after that you come out in like Double Impact, which was a lot of fun to watch. You had the Kickboxer movie, which, if I'm not mistaken, you're redoing right now. Is this correct?
Yes, we are doing a remake.
And at what part of where are you at with the remake now? I know you're training, you know, like an animal now.
Right.
But I mean, is Kickboxer actually being made at this moment, or is it planned to go to film soon?
In a couple of weeks, we're shooting the other half, which is the training part. So Kurt is coming to my camp, and now I'm a trainer. So we're gonna try to make some new move. Remember the sticks in the kickboxer, using the pads in the UFC? So I would like to do something kind of crazy, and we'll see. And lots of breakage, because it has to be cinematic. But I saw the other half of it with Batista and GSP and
GSP's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're good actors. I mean, GSP, his acting became amazing.
Yeah.
Very
really.
cool.
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
It's
Yeah.
great. So it's kind of also an honor for me to be with GSP. He's a great champion, and I believe vice versa. So it's beautiful. Martial arts is really beautiful.
I'm curious. I mean, you look at martial arts stars. You already mentioned Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. Jean-Claude Van Damme is right in that list of great martial arts actors. But it seems like this modern generation doesn't have the next martial arts star. Why is that, Jean-Claude? Is it too hard to break in? Are there just not enough polarizing figures? Why does this generation not have the next incarnation of yourself?
We're starving for it right now, quite frankly.
Seriously?
When you think about it.
To be honest with you, I think it's coming from the inside. I give you an example. By the way, before going to that subject, also we have Ted Field, a great producer.
Ted Field, sure.
Who's going to produce the film, and Dimitri, another producer. And let's not forget Batista. He did the movie, I guess, for me, because He's and you know he's a big star right now.
He's an amazing surprise.
so
when
I'm
he
very
did the
happy.
But
Guardian
he can
show.
act.
Yo,
Batista
But
can
no
act.
one
yeah.
thought that. Everyone thought,
Yeah.
oh, just a pro wrestler doing this Marvel movie, and he
No.
stole the freaking show.
No, he
Right.
can act. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Obviously, he can do all the Dwayne The Rock Johnson stuff, but give him a chance to act. He can
Right,
act.
but no offense to Batista, no offense to The Rock, those guys to me aren't martial artists like you.
No,
We
they're
don't
not.
have a
They're
martial
not.
artist.
They're
Okay, I
know
tell
what
you what, you know, I was born on the wood floor, right? Almost.
Mm.
And when you start to go to the dojo, you start to build such a respect between you, the master, your friends. That's why sometimes I'm 55. Yes, sir. Okay, he's calling me sir. It's kind of weak. Some people, you know, it's like I'm in that type of tunnel.
Right.
And also, I've been building in my mind martial arts all my life, including cinematic martial art.
Mm-hmm.
And also, sometimes you have that. It's just inside you. It's like Bruce Lee. You know, I don't want to compare myself. He was my hero. All I'm saying when it's time to go and you open those eyes, like it's there. It's like that explosion inside you. It's coming from inside
Right.
you. You take the energy. Like for example, a guy like McGregor, he's got that type of thing. He's hungry. It's new for him.
Mm-hmm.
He appreciates the money with a big smile. He's saying it out loud, and
Right.
now he's leading a very great adventure. This is the time where you go from nothing to being bored. So I'm advising him to enjoy every second
Absolutely.
of the day. That's the time, and it's going to be hard to beat him because he's fighting with this, plus his techniques and his height, plus he's got the Irish people behind him, and he create. Listen to this. He create a connection, a soul connection between him and the audience on his early fight, and he wants to be loved. One more thing, why those UFC champions they want to be loved. Before the fight, they are doing their honest show, and they want to be loved.
Mhm.
And it's nothing is more hard for a fighter after a career, same as a movie star, to going down. And I want to say something to all the UFC people. The training that they have to go through from toe to nose, you know, because it's all the styles are involved. I really pull my hat because those kids inside the cage, the beating they can receive, they're very courageous. And also it brings back the people, the American population to a specific. I understand it's primal. I understand we have blood. I understand the technique. So we accept the hit because we understand the techniques. We understand the puzzle before the game, not the game before the puzzle.
Mhm.
But some people not. But also it puts some people like those kids into a specific to go into the right way, the right path, and to understand what specific is. You can do the same with study, same with riding a bus. But UFC bring back people into a scheduled time, sleeping, training. You know what I'm saying?
You know what you're focusing on too is because they're capturing the hearts and minds of the fans, and that's when you capture the hearts and minds and leading the lifestyle that they lead, as long as they're good role models.
Right.
These are the role models of today, where we live in a life, and we talk about this all the time on the show, of which me are useless role models, such as the Kardashians and the, you know, I can go on and on and on, that don't really do anything to make one better in life other than just be famous for being famous. Here you're looking at somebody that the hearts and minds of the young 18 to 34-year-olds and kids can relate to, the way I related to, in my own mind, to Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris, and the way you did when we were young.
Right.
You know, in that kind of an instance. This is very important in today's society. And Conor McGregor, you bring up a cool point here. We have Randy Couture has gone into film. You worked with him in The Expendables.
Right.
Ronda Rousey has now gone into film. She's come out in a few major blockbuster films, most recently Entourage. She just got a huge paycheck to start a whole franchise built around her called, I forget, do you remember the name of that franchise?
The Athena Project.
Yeah, the Athena Project. She's on her way to that, although her heart and mind and her focus, being the true martial artist that she is to continue to be the great champion that she is. Now we look at Conor McGregor, and you're right. He is in that most important period of his life to enjoy and fulfill himself as much as possible, because let's be honest, it doesn't last forever. We know that. Do you see Conor McGregor with that personality he has and everything going for him that you just so bountifully described? Do you see him making his way? Does he have what it takes in your mind as a raw actor to go into film? Do you see that possibility?
Yeah, McGregor is going to be always a moving step forward.
Sure.
He likes to elevate himself in into fighting, philosophy. He's reading book. He's trying to learn his way. He's not stupid. He's listening. He has to do what he has to do, and he's a good guy. He loves people, but him being a movie star, he's really a true warrior, and he'll make a film or 2 or 3 films for sure, because he wants to touch everything. But in his heart, he's a true warrior. And I don't know what he's going to tell me or anybody's going to tell me, but I've got to say that. It's on the bottom of my heart, guys. I've got to say that. UFC, the Fist, were boxing for many, many years. It's good. They are good. They are strong. The projection, all that wrestling stuff, forget about me. It's spaghetti, you know. I will bite, right? I cannot do anything. You know, wrestling school in Belgium, it was soccer. I hate it. I was staying on the bench. I stay on the bench. But kicking, lots of people, they don't know how to use their legs correctly, because you're supposed to kick backwards, like when you're boxing, forward, and the power, it's sometimes not that there. And I'm honest, you can say JC, F him and everything, but I've got to be honest. And McGregor, for example, is a great fighter if he can use his legs as good as his fist, because what he has, what not too many people have, it's the eye. Like Emelianenko was not really in shape, out of shape, but his eye, he knew one. So he's got Fedor. I mean, so he's got that. He's got that. But what McGregor has, he's hungry and he's training every day. And after this fight, I would love to spend some time with him to elevate the knee even better and not to make mistake, because turning around like that is fantastic. He's got the speed, but a guy like Aldo can go inside him. That's dangerous.
I love that you're getting fired up about this. It sounds like you're a big Conor McGregor fan. Do you expect him to beat Jose Aldo?
To be honest with you, I love McGregor and I love Aldo. Those two guys, it's like you've got, you know, you've got a Ferrari, Lamborghini. It's not the same. I know, Mr. Gregor, different types of anatomy, but you've got the guys from the street. He's strong. He's all over the place. He's like
Like an Energizer bunny, he just moves all over the octagon.
Not on a bad way.
Like
a monkey. You know,
Yeah.
if I fight you, bam, he's all over the place. He knows to move. He's fast. He go forward. He's imprévisible. And McGregor has one thing that nobody has in his division. I think he can go backwards at the same time he's hitting. And when the guy ran at him and he can go backwards and and he's hitting the guy, it's very dangerous. So he's got the length to go forward and he's got the technique to go backwards.
When you look at some of the great fighters that have been in both boxing and mixed martial arts, there was a boxer who still today is, to me, is the greatest pound for pound boxer ever, which is Sugar Ray Robinson. He could knock you out with a short right hook going backwards. Chuck Liddell, I watched him break the orbital of that fighter. I forget.
Vernon Tiger Woods.
Vernon Tiger Woods hit him walking backwards, broke his orbital with a punch. I mean, the ability to punch when you're moving backwards is as important, if not more important, than moving forwards. Right. You have to have that full side, just being able to fight from left angle to right angle. There's a lot of excitement going on in the UFC, and I know you enjoy it. And
yes,
obviously.
Like, for example, I mean, the guy who's using his legs kind of cool. It's and it has nothing to do with UFC, but I don't promote because I'm a big fan. I saw the first UFC, people say we'll never go, and then they create a network just to make that happen. And many years ago in the newspaper they said it's bad, it's gory, it will never happen, and no, it's fantastic because it has that touch of Gladiator with class and the flash and the music. Every champion, they have their music.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. But anyway, what I wanted to say, it's like. I forgot.
No, you're
you're talking about someone else that was using their legs.
I said using legs also demand lots of condition.
Yeah.
Because your arms is that heavy, but to be able to lift your knee, like
Sure.
okay, I was talking about Boacao and Bill Wallace.
Oh yeah,
Those guys were superfoot, but of course it's not that jiu-jitsu. But I'm saying in terms of legs, Boacao from Thailand ain't bad. He's got some good techniques how to block and how to do. He trained in slow motion kick. It's very important to do kicking in slow motion. That will give you extreme power.
Actually, I train like that myself a little bit because it's almost similar to Tai Chi, because the slow movements, a lot of those guys you see doing their Tai Chi in the park and stuff, if you really look, they're very strong. Very strong. The slower you make those movements, and you're right, if you come up with the kick and you do a completely formed, perfectly moved kick, but as slow as possible, you're training those muscles.
To the yauda, every fiber,
exactly.
every fiber.
Every fiber of that muscle is being trained. Very, very cool point.
You know, just real quick, and you're a martial artist, so I'd like to ask you a question about this. I think, you know, the way that we implement traditional martial arts and mixed martial arts is a bit different. It's more repetition and routine. A lot of people get away from the kata and doing things in the gym. Do you feel there's benefit for people in traditional martial arts to continue doing the kata and actually have it for, you know, actual street application?
Me, I did few katas to win some competition for the form and look beautiful. But truly, I prefer to do some shadow boxing
Right.
and look at myself in the mirror. And I put a rope with a tennis ball, and I hit the rope like a thin rope like this with the foot, and I try not to make the rope move. You know, this is very difficult. If you have the dexterity to touch somebody and go like this, imagine.
Right.
If you knee, always put your knee up. Because if your knee up, you can go back forward very fast, and you also can turn this way. When the knee is up, it's the aiming weapon, and you're protecting yourself like a shelf, and then you go like a piston.
Look at Jean-Claude moving his chair.
I know,
Buffer.
I
You
know.
see this?
When we were in the gym together last week or the week before, remember, and we were talking with James, and we were doing the knee, and we said the knee is the gun sight.
Yeah.
And if the gun sight is looking at the side that you're kicking through, you're going to kick through that target, whether it's a head, a body, or whatever. I mean, I was always trained that your knee is your gun sight, and that's where the kick comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
And you need a lot of power in your buttocks, because the ASS is the one who's holding the middle of your body with the
Right.
abdominal. So to be able to lift your knee, and to lift your knee on a very high, you need all the
Look at
muscle
that.
here. No, you have to open, because a lot of people when they kick, they go like this. So if I'm blocking him, I'm gonna go in, not inside him, and he's gonna hook me or elbow me. So what you have to do when you kick, you have to put your knee straight between his guard and go inside,
Right.
like a jabs, you know. And it's not difficult. It's just like to understand to just change the hip movement. So you talk about Shotokan. It was karate martial arts. We'd follow the books. You do one kick, you do one mistake, you repeat 1,000 mistake,
Right.
1,000 kick. Now you go from there to UFC. Boxing follow, wrestling follow. Martial arts, it's a jump from Shotokan, very straight,
Yep.
this, that, to something who has to match the inside of wrestling and boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So who was there to teach that to whom? Jiu-Jitsu, they go one maigiri, and then they go to the floor.
Right.
We have kind of a teacher was not there. Sorry guys, don't kill me, but I go with because in 5 years from now in UFC, the kicking will be amazing.
Right.
It's gonna keep everything.
It's
Well,
gonna
I
be
mean,
like,
more and
just-
like the
look what
feast,
we-
like the feast.
Look what we've seen over the last few years. The Edson Barboza.
So all I'm
Steve
saying, between that Shotokan area, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, boxing, to UFC, a teaching kicking spirit, a teaching kicking community is gonna start to grow out there, and then it will be a big difference fighting, and that's why a guy like who broke his legs, wrong place, but
Anderson Silva.
or Connor, they can take their distance and they can have the time to target
Right.
and everything. Yeah.
Well, that's what Connor does. He's definitely a specimen. And getting back to, it's fascinating, isn't it, TJ?
Oh, this is amazing.
This is Jean-Claude.
I'm too
Van
excited,
Damme doing
guys.
this next chair in front of you.
Well,
This is fascinating.
What I just loved is you still have amazing flexibility. You're world famous. For
No,
this.
I was attached with a cable.
I know, but still.
I was restrained like in a movie. You know?
And do you even have to work on your flexibility anymore, Jean-Claude, or is it just you're probably this flexible for life?
You have to work, because the tendon, they're going to constrict, and also when you blow a few tendons, I blow 3 times inside
Wow.
different places, so you have to reopen that. It's getting tighter and tighter.
Right. Have you done jiu-jitsu at all?
Never.
I got to think that this guy would be amazing at rubber guard.
Well, at Rubber Guard, have you mentioned Eddie Bravo working with him
Seriously.
for about 6 months?
We should try to hook that up. We should get you on the mat with Eddie Bravo, and he can teach you some amazing stuff.
Really?
I know
Yeah.
sometimes you
It's
can't
very-
teach an old dog new tricks, but we'll see what's up.
I think JC can do whatever he wants to.
I'm running too fast.
Let's get back into your movie career a little bit as we take it forward. You know, you were doing the martial arts films, and then your acting as it began to expand, as you began to become a better actor. The Nowhere to Run, Hard Target. I enjoy these movies so much. Time Cop was a really, really good film. The film to me, which I consider one of your best films ever, which involves so much honesty on your part because of the ups and downs you've been through in your career, was Jcvd. And the beauty of Jcvd, real quickly, TJ, if you haven't seen it, for our audience listening, Jcvd was basically Jean-Claude Van Damme going home to Brussels to see his family in a rough period in your life, in the career, in the married life, just a very honest film. You go into a bank to get some money, the bank gets robbed, and you're taken hostage.
Right.
I've never heard of a plot like this because Hollywood's just retelling stories all the time.
Right.
And you have one scene in this film, which you have to correct me, is either 10 or 12 or 14 minutes long. The Time magazine actually said that your performance in the film was the second best of the year after Heath Ledger's The Joker in The Dark Knight. And they basically said that you deserve not a black belt, but an Oscar. Now, I know when I walked out of watching this movie, I called my friends, my dad, and I always talk about film all the time. I said, Dad, you won't believe this, but I just saw a performance by Jean-Claude Van Damme that was worthy of an Oscar nomination, just for that one scene alone. Now, my question to you and those that have watched the film, and you've made no secret about what you've been through in your life.
Right.
Your divorces, the drugs, the fun, all that, okay? And you've come back like a champion. So now this scene, was that scripted, Jean-Claude, or did they just let the cameras roll? Because I just don't see how that was so scripted. The tears look real. The emotion was real.
It's raw.
It's raw. It's almost like I was a
The
psychologist.
tears look real. You think I'm a lady? No, it came out naturally, of course, but
Yeah.
I did have some structure of kind of a mini path of my life,
Right.
and then it came out. It came out naturally. Yeah. To talk about life, and I came from the dojo, and I was hurt, and I believe in friendship.
I met your son,
Right.
and your son, by the way, also has a great roundhouse kick. Remember you
I
showing me
know,
the thing?
but he doesn't like to fight.
Well, some people, they like martial arts,
Yes.
they don't like
No,
to
he
fight,
love
you
it.
know?
He
He
love
loves
it.
martial
Yeah,
arts,
yeah, but fighting is not his trip.
Can't knock
Is
him
it
for
not
that.
getting hit? Is that?
No, he's into producing films.
Oh, got
He's
it.
got those vision of making sci-fi movies.
Sure.
He's very cool kid, very intelligent.
That's awesome.
But he has so much respect for the UFC. Love it.
How can you not with those great warriors? With all that you've been through in the movie career, and like you said, when you did Bloodsport, there wasn't TGI back then. All
No.
the effects.
Yeah.
What do you think about we already asked you about the action stars, but what do you think about the TGI effects? Do you think it's helping or ruining film?
You know what? Without the CG effect, you cannot get those sci-fi huge movies and also expandable, those Marvels and those Avengers and stuff like that. So when you do movies like the old way, something you cannot beat. For example, we have to go personal. Don't go scope without CG. Like Lawrence of Arabia will cost today so much, but if you do like a tight movie, a martial arts film, when you see a guy jumping in slow motion without CG, without cable, you see his vein and everything bulging. You see something you cannot produce in CGI. The effort. So when you see a guy like Bruce Lee and he do his famous, not too much, James. You're bugging them.
Oh, it's okay.
Or do a
It's
little
fine.
TV show for the Facebook. It's good for
No,
all of us.
please, James.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, James. James, sorry.
I don't want to get
So-
James ticked off
So,
either.
so,
That's a
so
tough guy.
those movies without CG, they bring back some sorts of reality because I believe people they can see through even the pixel. Because today, FaceTime, what's between the cable,
Right,
pixels.
right.
So it's kind of an energy. So you can see through reality, the truth. CG are great, but in the middle of it, you need kind of a human substance always. I'm not fighting for my profession and my business. My business today is on the social network, and I'm in China doing some different types of business. What I'm saying to you, if you give you truth with the CG, we always see a difference. Yeah.
Exactly. You're doing Kickboxer now. We were talking about the other item, with the tiers. Did you want to talk about that, or is that something you want to keep off the
I
table?
will be later. I'll come back on your show.
Okay, that would be great. I'd love to talk about that when it happens. Where do you see Jean-Claude Van Damme in 10 years?
Well, I'm going to try to set up something where people they can have, they can feel great and they can feel important and equal in a sense in the world of social network where we can reach lots of avenues to help people to understand better. In a sense like that. It sounds kind of, it's more of a...
It's a theory of life. In its own
Yes,
essence.
but it's all there. But if I have to go through, it will take like lots of time to explain.
We'll definitely have you back on the show.
But
Jean-Claude.
yeah. But I like to make movies because that's my movies is the thing. It's like when you're going to make a film, you can represent another reality.
Right.
If it's those types of movies,
Right,
like
right.
Scorsese movies, and then you have movies like I may do a TV show, which it's not announced yet, and I may do another big movie, kind of a very big movie, which is not announced yet. You never know what's going to happen. So.
Well, in Hollywood, you never talk about it until the camera's rolling.
That's right.
They got to keep it quiet. So you keep that quiet. We don't need any big scoops on Itstime Radio here. I'm just so proud and happy that you came in studio to be with us, because I speak for TJ when I say this, and everybody here, it's an honor to have you on the show.
Great.
It truly is.
Great.
And we're going to get this out, and I want to have you back on, and I want to see you. And of course, I'm waiting for my close-up, Mr. DeMille, when I can be in one of your films.
Okay, don't deal on the camera. And one thing also, when you've been through a lot in life, I think the secret to success is first of all to have a goal. So what you have to do, you have to ask yourself what you want, right? You'll have no answer for a couple of years until you know who you are. You have to know who you are, and then slowly you will design something of who you are, right? Mm-hmm. When you lock that target, you will feel it. Then, what am I supposed to do to make that happen? Then you launch the idea in the future, in a sense, right? And you'll feel that it's going to happen. And then you become what you are. So when I came to America, even though I was poor, the money was in the bank, poor to come. You have to be poor to succeed. I cannot come with money. And because it will not help, 30,000 more. So you go in, and I felt like, hey, I'm Jean-Claude Van Damme, I'm a movie star. Mm-hmm. I can work for free, but I'm a movie star, you'll see. So I was having that type of already built inside me. And it's the same with the champion. It started a young age. But anyway, after all that stuff, what's the most important in life? Is to be simple. It's to be simple, like a sunshine and a sunset. And then after all I've done, the car, the jewelry, the watch, lots of people understand. Oh, look at me, it's a t-shirt, that's a pen from Cathay Pacific business class. I've got my beats, I'm happy, I've got my dogs. I've got money, but be simple and humble, and then you'll go through everything in life.
If that's not motivating, I don't know what is.
It's incredibly
Seriously.
motivating. I just totally am with you completely what you said. And one thing I'd like to add, and I say on the show one time, is I truly believe we are all created equal in life. It's just about the paths we choose. Right. And it's about being the best you can be on that path that you choose. And your humbleness and where you are today, and I'd like to end the show on the note that you just put out, because to me, that is valuable, wonderful food for thought for the people that are listening to this show. And for that, I thank you so much, Jean-Claude.
Thank you, Bruce.
It's truly, truly an honor to have you on the show.
Please come back. We'd love to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen tuning in, all our listeners around the world, we just had a very, very special show, a show that will definitely live long with Itstime Radio. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Remember, be the best you can be. Be a role model to your sphere of influence. Show the respect to everybody around you that you care to receive yourself. Life is about winning. Life is about setting goals. Not just thinking about them, but making them happen. Fulfill your dreams, everybody, and live life to the fullest. We'll be back next week on Itstime Radio. Buffer out.
Perfect.
Oh, you're good, man.
Thank you.
Lock
That was
in
awesome.
on the target.
Yeah,
I loved it.